thought occurs to me.
Oh?
This is the second episode that we've started by staring at Chihiro's corpse.
What does that say about us, do you think?
It says we're the Bittersweet Gamers.
Does it really? I'm the opinionator?
I'm we squared.
Now, we assume that we're just about to go to trial. The last thing we have to do is investigate his body.
I guess.
But we're not going to go through everything because since we assume the trial's about to start...
And plus we're missing crucial details.
Right, I mean, the game's going to go through everything, so we're not going to make you sit through it like 7 times in a row like we did last time. Now we know how it works. We've gone through all the evidence and made sure that we're pretty familiar with it. There's 2 things that we're not sure about. Number 1, Hifumi claimed to have found some sort of evidence.
We assume it has something to do with the chain gun, possibly bullet casings or the bullets themselves, because Yasuhiro did hear it go off, according to Monokuma.
Yeah, and there's no way that's not related in some way, or not unrelated.
Right.
Like, it might be, it's probably just something we're going to have to sort of swat down.
Yeah.
That could be wrong, but we're still assuming that Hifumi's got something, because we definitely do not have all the information. The other thing has to do with Celeste's account. We have not been able to figure out definitively why Chihiro's duffel bag was stolen.
One of our theories is that it's his e-handbook's in it, and so they wanted to grab it for whatever their use was. But if that's the case, that would only really be useful to a girl.
Well, if the boy stole the e-handbook not knowing Chihiro was a boy...
Then the person who stole it isn't the killer.
Right. That is possible. Alternately, it could be that the duffel bag was taken...
because there's some evidence in it somehow?
Or it itself is evidence, though. I mean, tracksuits aren't exactly, like, very gender obvious, so I'm not sure that it really matters. But anyway, so this one we still kind of feel like is up in the air.
A common trope is to have, like in schools, I've seen in a lot of animes where the boys have blue stuff and the girls have pink stuff.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it could be color-coded, but I'm not even sure that would be relevant.
It isn't really, because why would we not investigate Chihiro's body? There's no use in hiding his gender at this point. Whoever did the investigating would investigate the body and be like, oh, well, this is a boy.
However, the body was nonetheless moved into the girls' locker room.
That's correct.
This is kind of relevant. So the last thing that we're going to say before we move on, because otherwise we could keep going for a long time.
And yes, we could.
And we said we weren't going to do what we're doing. So at the very least, we better end it. We're still thinking that it's Byakuya, just because he's controlled all the information.
Like everything is just screaming out Byakuya.
But that doesn't mean that it is Byakuya.
Correct. So we're keeping an open mind.
We're quite open to it, the possibility of it being somebody else, but he's the most suspicious person. But we don't have all the evidence yet.
We do have a secondary suspicious person, but there isn't really enough evidence to really try and start pinning it on them.
Yeah.
So we'll save it for later.
So, Chihiro's body. Let's get around to actually investigating this and finding out the truth before the trial begins.
Yay.
Kyoko said I should examine the body one more time. I mean, I never examined it in the first place, but I know she said thoroughly, but I do have my limits. Well, I'd better give it a shot anyway. Let's see. Chihiro's hands are bound with what looks like some kind of rope. The extension cord.
Yeah, I think you mean cord there, Makoto.
The rope was used to prop her up in a kind of crucifix position. This rope has a plug! No comments! Wait, so then this isn't a rope at all. But the more I think about it, the more that's not the only thing that concerns me. Chihiro's fatal injury was the blow to the head, which means someone struck her in the head in order to kill her.
Right.
That's right, there's the issue of her being suspended and the fatal blow. At first, I didn't see any reason to think too much about either of them.
Right.
But seeing them again after looking through the Genocide Jack file, something's not quite right.
Because Genocide Jack kills them by stabbing!
And it's super mega bloody all over the place. So,
and they're pinned to the wall with the frickin' scissors!
So the duffel bag could have been evidence because of all the blood, but what would that matter?
They would have just moved it into the girls' locker room if that was the case.
Right. I mean, we had been pointing out how unbloody the whole thing was.
Well, this means she was killed, then strung up.
Right, which we assumed from the beginning, of course. What does all this mean? Well, the one thing most likely to tie all these mysteries together is the true nature of the rope that was used to suspend Chihiro.
You know, the extension cord that Byakuya was using.
And to figure that out, there's a certain place I need to revisit and look over again. So I guess we have a little bit more investigating, okay. Plus, it might help to look at the Genocide Jack case file that isn't there one more time, because it's already been carried off by Byakuya.
No, we need to finish examining his corpse.
Darn it, there's kind of some pervy locations you really need to get to, so you won't be so surprised later. I am very glad that Makoto has decided to stop ignoring this whole cord thing.
We've only been bagging on about it for episodes.
Well, we noticed it right away. Right, the lamp's cord isn't long enough to reach the outlet. The last time I saw it, it was definitely on, and it was definitely right here.
1 + 1 is...
Byakuya was using an extension cord! But there's no extension cord here now. I wonder if... There we go, and that's it. Because we had already seen that the Genocide Jack case file was gone.
Okay, so I guess then Kyoko will be the one to give the big reveal.
Yeah.
I'm getting tired of waiting. Shall we just plunge right in?
Can we have a 10-minute recess first?
I wonder if the reason that Monokuma gives an arbitrary amount of time
is so he can wait till you find all the information?
From a game design perspective, obviously it's to make sure you found all the evidence and gone through everything you need to get. But
there's still the possibility that he's doing this he wants us to do the right thing.
Yeah, Monokuma might actually want to make sure it's possible for someone to succeed.
Yeah.
It's the moment you've all been waiting for. The class trial!
The class trial!
I kind of have been waiting for it. These are pretty cool.
You remember where to meet, right? Please go through the red door on the first floor of the school. See you soon!
Looking forward to it.
Ahem. So is everyone ready to... What?
What? Now what?
Am I blind or are we missing someone?
Oh, I don't like... Oh, Toko. Toko's still in her room.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah, Toko's not here. And Toko is? You really don't remember?
It's one of the other students. She
don't pay attention to that.
She just doesn't make an impression on anybody, apparently.
Kidding, I'm just kidding. How can I forget that little nut job?
She's probably very special to you being here on account of her...
I just hope she's not dead.
Yeah, I'm worried about that as well.
She's a crucial part of the class trial this time.
What are you gonna do?
Okie dokie. I'll go ahead and drag her out here kicking and screaming. Just one moment, please.
So she's going to be the scapegoat this time instead of Makoto.
Yeah.
I assume. And just like he said, a few minutes later, he reappeared, actually dragging Toko behind him.
Oh, thank God she's alive.
How fascinating. That means the little RC bear is capable of actually dragging about 100 pounds around at least.
Well, she's probably not very physically adept, despite her weight.
Well, who says she's struggling, and it doesn't matter how athletic she is if she's being dragged by something small. Just noting the capabilities of the robot bear.
I told him I didn't want to, but he forced me. I can't believe you would drag a girl around.
I might be wrong about this, but if you're not here, I'm pretty sure we all die, so...
Probably.
I kind of don't care.
Terrible! You're just terrible!
Yes! It is terrible, isn't it?
Phew! So now everyone's here, right? Okay then, hustle onto the elevator and let's get this show on the road! I'll see you guys down there.
I can hardly wait. These trials are so awesome, but they also really suck.
Let's go.
So shall we get going? It's time to find out who killed Chihiro.
Well, we'll see if it wasn't you. Chihiro Fujisaki. She was so gentle, so calm and meek. Nobody had any problems with her, although that one free time scene with the mosquito was really
pretty creepy.
really creepy. Someone made the choice to kill a girl like that. And that murderer is one of us. Someone standing right here.
I gave you plenty to work with. Show us how far your logic can take you.
I really dislike the way you said that. There is something odd about Toko's behavior.
Oh, you think?
I do not think mere shock is enough to explain it. I guess I wasn't much help at all on this one. I missed!
Hey, come on.
Fucking Toko, man. What's got her so worked up?
Couple of things, buddy. All right! Nice chat!
Miss Fujisaki, I must admit it, for being 3D, she was quite remarkable.
Ah, so your interests go in that direction as well, huh?
What are you talking about?
The small side?
Of course, just the idea of 3D makes me cringe.
Don't worry, nobody's judging you, except for everyone.
I was judging you openly. I don't know why the killer did what they did, but I'm sure to work itself out. Justice always prevails, right, bro?
Well, we're gonna do our best to see to it that justice prevails.
Shall we go?
Shall we begin? You ready? We doing this? Don't ask why I look nervous.
Still got my eye on you.
Well then.
I will uncover the villain who performed such heinous acts on a weaker individual. And I will crush them with my fists.
We're counting on your help, Sakura. We have no choice, right? We have to do this.
True.
I gave a small nod in reply. With one last deep breath, I walked toward the elevator on shaky legs.
Did Kyoko just respond to us thinking?
No. As soon as everyone was on, the elevator began to descend. I couldn't get a handle on my emotions. Couldn't stop speculating. Know the feeling, bro! The steel box sank with heavy clunking sounds deeper and deeper into the ground. And as we went deeper, the uneasiness in my heart grew bigger and bigger. It is kind of sad how much emptier
Yeah.
the elevator looks.
More space.
The elevator was unaffected, however, and continued to descend without hesitation. Until finally, it came to a sudden stop.
What do you think? I redecorated! Isn't it so fresh? Isn't it so exciting?
I hadn't noticed. I'm thinking about things that matter.
Isn't it so chapter 2? Don't waste our time with stupid questions. Let's get this over with.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Good, good. You're raring to go. Gotta say, I don't hate it. Not at all.
Then again, if we're right, which we may not be, but if we're right, Byakuya may really have an interest in making sure all this moves as fast as possible.
Well,
Okay then, let's get this show on the road.
thrills!
Everyone, please find your assigned seats.
And so the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal.
A deadly premonition?
No, that's a different game.
Okay.
A deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial. Oh, catchphrases! I'm gonna really ham the next one up. One of the nice things about accidentally having replayed so much for the free time events is we have a bunch more skills and skill points to use them. May as well take advantage of it.
Always a benefit.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial.
Really?
So, your votes will determine the result.
Well, there's only the second one.
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one,
And there is value in the pre-trial ritual.
That's true.
Then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Okay, then. So, first off, let's talk about the murder weapon!
Yay! First, we have to make clear what was used to deliver the fatal blow. It's the
dumbbell!
The dumbbell. I mean, that's incontrovertible.
The desk lamp!
Yes, the case file! Killed with the case file! No, it's... There we go.
It appears it was a head wound.
That's
Right?
correct.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But
How could it...
kind of blunt instrument
That.
could it have
Pew! Oh, that wasn't it, huh? Oh, I guess not. Okay.
Then it must be the desk lamp! The one that was put in the file room.
Could that really be the case? Let's just see what the rest of the statements
According
are.
to the Monokuma
Okay.
file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been? I bet it was an iron pipe.
Oh, there we go. Well, that was dumb of
Oi.
me.
Interesting.
Ah, well.
That certainly would make for a powerful weapon.
Okay, speed. That's what you get, Billy.
You should know better.
According to the Monokuma
The hero's fatal injury.
blunt instrument could it have been? I bet it was an iron pipe.
Bam! It's a
That was my
dumbbell.
fault.
Dumbbell, for goodness sake.
I guess we should wait for the whole thing before we start counter.
Maybe. I mean, there was
Agree
nothing...
that the object that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell found at the scene of the crime?
You're so eager to look for a twist, despite us having already investigated both of the desk
I
lamps.
know.
That on the very first thing, you're like, everything we know is wrong!
It was covered in blood, and there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
Still, as they go, though, the way that time marches on, it kind of, like, makes you...
Pressured?
Feel really pressured.
Yeah.
And I guess you, Billy, are maybe slightly
I'm
weak
really
to
vulnerable
pressure.
to games like this when there's a time crunch. Like, in games where there's like you only have so many days to complete the game, I'm like, oh god, what do I do?
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell.
She would know, she
As
investigated.
far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this
The
one.
Monokuma file isn't going to lie about the physical aspects of the death.
Yeah, but
I mean,
if
it didn't
you
say what
bash
the
someone
weapon
over the head
was.
with the desk lamp, that's a blunt instrument. Just saying.
Looked at her head wound?
Guys, you have to do this!
That's so creepy!
Oh, Kyoko looked at everything.
I mean, you have to look at it. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. If you're like, ooh, that's gross, therefore I'm not going to investigate it, I'm going to die. Like,
Yeah, your lives are on the line.
how can anybody say that that's even an understandable response? I mean, of course you're not going to like to do it, but you have to. Everybody here is going to die if they don't up their game.
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here.
Of course you will.
Let's move on to discussion of the culprit. Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
Yeah, but we're gonna let you talk anyway.
Yeah, so he's going to run everybody through what he's got so we can shoot it all down.
Yeah.
What? For real?
Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
Genocide Jack, the fiendish serial killer. Did he really kill Chihiro? Oh!
Yeah, sure.
More? Okay, what do we get then? A new element. For this debate, lines of white noise will appear to disrupt your reactions.
Oh, good.
Truth bullets will disappear if they hit these lines, so think of them as obstacles in your debate. Okay, I get it.
All right.
So Leon's robot jock skill, when we were the last time we went through the trial, because we had to do it several times, like to keep the difficulty correct and all that, we didn't have robot jock equipped, and we were like, oh my god, you can miss! So it's a good thing we have it now. Okay, there's a way to keep this white noise from getting in your way. Attack the silencer! Shoot down the white noise with the silencer. How fascinating! But if you shoot the remark with the silencer, then you run out of time. Okay.
Okay.
And you hit that for the silencer.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes, narrator?
Oh, but if your action difficulty is set to gentle, which it is not, white noise won't appear at all. In which case, just forget about all this. Well then, good luck and have fun!
Yay!
That's pretty fun to do.
I assume it's the case file we'll be using.
We gotta see what they're talking about!
The culprit is Genocide Jack.
I'm sure of it.
Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible.
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on.
That's it?
There's
Hold on.
just no proof for it.
Whew! You almost hit the white noise!
You know, I guess I did. I mean, the thing is there is some proof for it.
Yeah?
I might know one reason he could be involved.
What?
I mean, we don't think it's Genocide Jack, of course.
Correct, but
you know, this is
we have
quite
to clarify
relevant.
everything.
File, while I was looking around the archive in the library.
If by found you mean was handed to you and shoved down your face.
Hey, Byakuya wasn't gonna let Makoto go until he'd looked at everything he needed him to look at.
I know.
I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
What? That's kind of weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
Mondo, you should have seen the other stuff that was at this library.
So, Byakuya, are you just gonna brush that part aside?
The lie of it is probably more trouble.
Yeah,
than
he
it's
is.
worth. So
Yeah.
let's forget
Yeah,
that
exactly.
for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail. According to the file, there appear to be two defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case. The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
Interesting how Hifumi and his boob lust were beginning to get sort of interested in Shihiro and the lack of boob lust.
No. It's actually blood.
Pretty bad when Asahina's correcting you.
That's what I was thinking.
More important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Stringing them up.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
The other characteristic of every Genocide Jack
How the victim was positioned.
is how the victim was positioned. Bam!
Apparently, in every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way. Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
And me and Byakuya, since, you know.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way.
It is true.
So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it?
And of course, if you're actively trying to pin this on Genocide Jack, who is apparently here, and is Toko,
Yes.
then you would copy the Genocide Jack MO and use that as your definitive proof. Information manipulation.
There's only one logical answer I can think of.
And of course, this would only work if Genocide Jack is actually here.
Right.
It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
No fucking way.
Of course, for everybody else here, they haven't been having these conversations, so...
You're saying Genocide Jack is one of us?
Yes. In fact, it's Toko.
Just gonna come right out with it, are we?
Well, it was quite obvious.
To us.
What?
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
You lie!
He for me?
What?
She's not saying what it can't be, but what you know.
Yeah.
Which, if you think about it, it's absolutely ludicrous that somebody would know this.
Right?
And when I say it's obvious, I mean, only the people who were actually there would know that it was obvious, like to see her acting in those ways, and really only Makoto and Byakuya would have that knowledge.
And specifically because the police file says that...
It's a student, yeah.
And
But no, I'm just talking about her
personality.
behavior. I'm just talking about her
yeah.
behavior.
Right.
Feigning the weirdness.
Right.
And hearing everything that happened. Only Aoi actually saw her say that stuff, but she didn't have the other context. But what were you going to say?
And it also said that he probably has a split personality.
Yeah. So it's like having all the information.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, hold
Toko has like blood
Bloodophobia!
What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Bloodophobia. I'ma remember that one.
Is Toko
Boob
Genocide
lust.
Jack? The answer is yes and no.
We're not going to talk about boob lust in games that have sort of slightly dating-y elements.
That's fair.
Another riddle. Man, why is this gotta be so complicated?
Oh, boo-hoo! Cry me a river!
It's all that hair pushing down on his brain makes it hard to think.
It does seem like a riddle in a way, but I feel like I can just about see it. Genocide Jack is Toko, but isn't Toko. What does it mean? It means a split of personality. Okay, what type of word do they want? What? Let's try S.
Schism.
Schizo. No? Yeah. I missed! There we go.
Huh.
Woo, that was close.
Understand? Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
You know, finding out the answers to the Hangman's Gambit are probably going to start to get sort of hard because we have to find the word they want.
Yeah.
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file too.
Right.
They thought that the suspect might have, what did they call it? Dissociative identity disorder.
I guess what Byakuya is trying to say is that Toko did it.
Very good, Billy. I
Thank
know.
you. Thank you.
That you're trying to make acronyms and pronouncing them a thing.
No, that is how.
Oh,
It's- that's what it's called. DID.
Yeah, I know it's called DID, but people don't say did. You fool.
I know.
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
We don't have too many comments about this because we discussed it to death when it happened.
Right.
The one thing that shows Toko can have a split personality
Her behavior changed.
has to do with her behavior.
You're talking about how she started acting totally different than usual,
The,
right?
the crossed eyes shooting up in opposite directions and like the tongue lolling out.
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
I'm fine. Yeah. Whoa, is that a dead body? Hey, are you dead? Yeah.
Because that's absolutely how she normally acts.
She must have hit her head real hard when she fainted. The world is a front and a back, a top ending and a bottom, a sea of truth and a web of lies. This is quite concerning. I mean, she sounds completely different.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
And the stutter is totally gone as well.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
It's okay. It's over. You can't hide it at this point.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm. In other words, within her is one personality that can handle blood, and one that obviously can't.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
Yeah, and she was saying stuff like, "I won't let Genocide Jack out again."
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious when she's saying something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I won't let Genocide Jack have control. I'll drive out the killer, drive out the murderous fiend.
I could see how it would be more ambiguous in Japanese, however.
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How?
Yeah. How can you know all this?
Because he knows
I
everything.
believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this?
But how do you know all this?
No. What she wants to know is, How could you tell
This,
them?
this is probably has something to do with their promise. Maybe she told him that in, like, secrecy.
That's
because
true.
He's her master.
They had a promise. And Toko's normal personality is apparently who she really is, but we don't know how Genocide Jack came out.
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation.
She wanted to tell him her secret.
Because it's better to tell somebody than nobody to get it off your chest?
She told me a most interesting story. She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time.
And all of that does make her bizarre hostility and, like, weak...
Antisocialness?
Like weak, odd personality make a lot more sense.
Oh, yeah.
And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
Just like those commentators said.
The trial of Toko making grunts.
Yeah.
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
Everybody was gonna find out anyway.
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
What?
You promised. I can't believe you lied.
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to.
I don't know what about Byakuya makes anybody think they could trust him.
Because he's her master.
This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale.
Way to get her on your side. Well, I mean, he's
trying to fire Byakuya.
I mean, he's specifically trying to pin it on her, of course.
Right.
Or, I mean, whether it's
even
because
if he isn't the killer, he clearly believes she is.
Yes.
Regardless of whether.
Yes.
Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone.
I see.
But in spite of that promise...
I'm sorry, I couldn't keep a promise. But don't worry, never again.
But
she can't know if Genocide Jack goes and does something.
I would assume it's because she doesn't have a conscious memory.
That's generally how it works.
Because if she did, then
she would know that
she would only have the one personality.
Yeah.
And so if and for someone like Toko Fukawa, if you see a corpse strung up,
yes, you're gonna think you did it.
You think you did it because you did most of the time.
I won't let Genocide Jack have control of her again.
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me.
Man, Byakuya is such a great guy.
Right?
That's the only reason I promised.
How many times do I have to tell you? I never said that.
Of course, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Toko pushes her reality off on other people.
But you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing, could you?
That's probably why she's so involved in, like, romance. That's what she wants.
Yeah.
She wants, like, love, but all she has is a freaking demon living inside her.
Yeah, like, when you sort of when you live inside fiction and have this going on, it would make a lot of sense that you'd sort of live inside a real fictional reality, not just expressing it through fiction.
Yeah.
I tried. I swear I tried to control it. But
well, this time at least you did.
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
I hate you.
He's trying to tear her down like this.
Well, not only is she a very apt target for that sort of thing, but he's probably really good at this, because he's an a-hole.
No, absolutely, you're right. I suppose he's hoping that if she breaks down, then it's, like, is non-functional, then it's like, the end, let's vote right now. It was Genocide Jack.
You know something? Him being so confident and serious about this, when we prove it wasn't her, that might deal a big enough blow to him that he starts to open up to the rest of the group. Because he's so sure, but he would have died if they went with him.
I really hope that's what happens. That would be really good for Byakuya.
Yeah, and the group.
Yeah.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
So he's trying to get Genocide Jack to come out, huh?
The person you don't mean.
Those are some pretty long braids. Toko's body suddenly lunged backwards.
No.
A huge thud echoed across the courtroom, but in the next second... Oh my god!
Hello there! Is it me you were hoping to see?
Genocide Jill!
Huh. Alright, so, you guys have told us that Genocide Jack was originally Genocider's show. So, what about Genocide Jill? Is it still show? Because that's really quite possible.
What the heck?
Can I please get my seat changed?
So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do?
That is really interesting.
I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
What the fuck is this?
I'm suddenly filled with the urge to beat her down!
Toko, what happened to you?
Not Toko, that's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality. So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's fault.
Kind of terrifying that she can just come out like that.
My god! Well, Genocide Jack has to have a strong personality. He's a methodical killer.
Yeah.
Or
She.
She.
Oh god!
Well, hey, the he's and the she's are gonna be all screwed around for this whole trial, so...
You're right.
So intense.
The exact opposite of Toko.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body.
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back.
Jesus Christ.
Is that
Going all
tongue?
Orochimaru on us.
Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie.
And in the depths of every lie lives a little truth?
Maybe?
Oh, back at ya! I'm deep and smart!
Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
Man, I really want to write down these catchphrases and run around shouting them.
I really like Genocide Jill!
I mean...
Like, as a character?
This is excellent.
Ah!
Well, this is going to make the trial pretty interesting, because of course Genocide Jill is going to be like...
I didn't do it.
But anyway, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Why would I lie?
Yeah! I don't give a crap!
This is the murderous fiend Genocide Jack? This is beyond insane!
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Oh my god, the friendly, smiling face with the lolling, evil tongue!
Oh god!
Maybe Genocide Jill is a friendly, happy-go-lucky serial killer, great at making friends and understanding people. Some part of Toko has to be very good at understanding people, or she wouldn't be a literary genius at her age.
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on
That's a
that?
good point.
That's a really good question, Hifumi. Thinking about it, is Toko Fukawa the writer, or is Genocide Jill the writer? Alternately, doesn't make a difference.
I guess it doesn't matter, but...
But wouldn't that be interesting?
Huh.
Well, I'll tell you, I am the mastermind of all masterminds!
The ultimate mastermind!
Just kidding!
It's not true?
I suppose it's pretty good to run this by.
Yeah.
I do feel that Genocide Jill is probably pretty honest when it comes to a situation like this. After all, her own life is in danger.
Of course it's not true. How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid? And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless.
So, do they exist out there right now, or not? I suppose they exist since they've been mentioned a few times, but that's just important for determining the where, when...
Why and how, I guess?
And why of this situation that we're in. So I'm glad he said that.
I mean, they just let this idiotic, bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town.
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people.
You hurt the ones you love. Come here, let me love you.
I'm really beginning to think that Jill is the author.
It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone.
I think you're right. I think...
I'm kidding again!
I have nothing to say to this.
Dots!
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death. There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
That's just not true in this case, though.
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us?
It's not possible that it could have been Genocide Jill, because Genocide Jill couldn't have gotten into the room where Chihiro was murdered.
That's correct. And if she was killing... Well, I guess if everyone else died because she killed someone... Never mind. I was going to say, if she killed someone and did it in the way that she normally does it, then they would instantly know it was her.
But they wouldn't have if it weren't for... Yeah, that's...
Yeah, see?
If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack.
Makes sense.
If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined. So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
But she wouldn't have killed in her normal fashion if that was the case. You know what I mean?
Well,
that would make it too obvious that it was her, then they would pick her, and then she would die.
But you would also assume that under normal circumstances, nobody else would know about that MO. But we don't we don't know how much Toko actually knows about law enforcement pursuing her.
Yeah, there might not be. She might not be aware of anything.
Right.
On that side, yeah.
In any case, or Jill, I mean, not Toko.
Right.
In any case, it couldn't have been Toko, or Jill, or... I'm just gonna call them either or, and we'll specify pretty strongly if I mean one personality or the other.
Okay.
Just to make it clear.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
Huh?
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
What? The only thing that was bizarre was stringing her up.
Yeah.
Him up. Oh my god!
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster.
The thing is even that, why would I lie? Even that's ineffective.
Yeah.
Because in this case...
She has every reason to lie.
If she said that, and...
Right.
Like, if she really did do it, then she'd be giving herself a death sentence by saying that, so she'd have to say no. Maybe she's totally right about that, but something's still bothering me. What she said, I need to get some more details about all of this.
Oh, yeah!
This is a lot more interesting than the previous trial. Probably the body.
That's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to say it.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Oh, you just hit that to fire it.
That would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking.
Oh, gives us more time.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches
There.
completely. What more proof?
It has to be that one.
Give it up.
You killed her.
Yeah, you're right. That's what it is, alright. Hey, since we have the extra time,
I didn't kill anyone.
and can get some extra time like that...
Yeah.
Expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi.
Oh, an alibi, huh?
Whee! Okay, enough of that.
The modus operandi matches
No, that's wrong.
Because it doesn't.
Yeah, the only the stringing up part
Yeah.
matters. Because there's the scissors and all the blood.
Really exactly the same? I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
You can't even argue that it's just because of the situation they're in, because she had scissors available to her.
Yes, the sewing kit.
Yeah, and even if she wanted more scissors...
The scissors she used were homemade.
Yeah, I understand the scissors were homemade, but even if she wanted to use some scissors, she could have found them.
Yeah.
And she could have gotten more scissors from more sewing kits by you taking the used handbooks and going around.
Yeah.
So, if it were the standard thing, then presumably she would have done that.
Huh? How's it any different?
Or you might be right that it has to be the homemade one or it doesn't count.
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, let me tell you!
I might look like a sea urchin or something, but that's still mean.
So, she definitely has the best voice delivery in this game.
I murder with passion and conviction.
It's like violent and stab.
No wonder you like Toko so much.
I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things. Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee.
I love Chef Boyardee.
You eat like a 6-year-old.
This is no creation of mine.
There we go.
Let me rephrase that in a way that maybe makes more sense.
I'm pretty sure he was talking about the scissors.
There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
There's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
She didn't just kill him with. She was just like I said, stab.
Yeah, it was several stabs and the blood everywhere.
But
instead
Chihiro
of
had a shockingly small amount of blood.
Right, and no stab. The clear difference is the victim's injury.
I got it.
The message is correct.
For one, the cause of death is different. In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were killed the same way. According to the case file, they were all apparently killed with a pair of scissors.
Well, multiple pairs of scissors, but yes.
I do like how they never actually specifically brought this up and count on the player to pay attention to it.
Well, I did. I read it.
Yeah, no, this came up. We stopped and actually read all this and tried to get all the details.
But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Ah, yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method?
Especially if she views it as art or something.
Conflicting detail.
Not that anybody would have known that.
True.
But, I mean, of course you're correct. Knowing that detail should make it almost incontrovertible that it couldn't have been her, because if you're a serial killer who has that particular MO, that's clearly important.
Yeah, it's because of your psychoses that you kill in that way.
Yeah.
That's right. In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini...
Man, why do we gotta keep talking about Italian food?
Man, she's just appealing to both of us now.
I don't really like Italian
food. Talking about food to you?
No, although tortellini's good.
Then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce.
Ugh, tortellini with pesto sauce? Oh my god!
She's a monster.
Please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
Now, pesto inside tortellini, sure. Anyway, enough of this.
So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
That's right. The second difference is related to how
was
she
used
was
to suspend her.
Yeah.
I got it! Do you remember what the killer used to suspend her? They used some kind of rope to hang her up by her wrists.
You know it's the extension cord.
What is your point?
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend
Huh,
her.
you know, we never noticed this apparently.
What? That the scissors were used to suspend them?
Well, we never mentioned it.
Not on camera, no.
No, I actually hadn't really physically noticed it because I was looking at all the other stuff.
Well, I pointed it out to you. Do you not listen to me?
Did you say something?
Yes. Oh.
No, I might have just forgotten.
Yeah, I pointed it out.
Well, make sure I hear you if you do.
Okay, fine.
Shut up, Billy.
Guess what? I used my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement. Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And Big Mac said there's two differences, but he's wrong.
Big Mac? Big Mac?
Man, I'm craving McDonald's for some reason. I want to find out her nicknames for everybody else too.
Yeah.
Big Man? Are you referring to me?
I'm the smallest guy here. Well,
technically,
now.
Yeah, Toko is actually ever so slightly bigger than Makoto. And that's creepy because Toko's little bitty.
Yeah.
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
I mean, really, he's more of a little Mac, but I guess we don't want to go with boxing and instead have to keep it with food.
She's clearly got a food fetish.
Food fetish.
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case.
Toko doesn't know!
Yes! She doesn't know that Chihiro's a guy.
All the victims, are male.
There's a pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
A pattern?
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Let us see. There was a pattern surrounding the Genocide Jack victims, and Chihiro didn't fit it, except he did. Aha! It's because Chihiro was a girl?
Yes. I mean, that's not true, but...
Chihiro was a girl?
Bingo! Bullseye, right on the money!
It's just so great! She's having so much fun! I mean, the voice actress, not the character, though, her too.
What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
Yeah, you noticed that too, huh?
Yeah.
So, Yasuhiro, who is the other person I had my eye on, we just didn't have any... The only evidence we had was some weird stuff. Duly noted. He must have always thought Chihiro was a guy. He must have known for whatever reason.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, he is a clairvoyant.
Which is
how we figure he might have known about the other stuff, too. Or maybe he only knew that they were hung up, but not the nature.
Yeah.
We think that he may have been called in by the police to help with the case, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes they call in psychics.
I mean, it's conceivable.
But
like the only way that somebody could know about this part of the methodology with Genocide Jack is either the police report like we have here, or actually pulling the information from the ether.
Yeah.
Which the only person here who could do that would be Yasuhiro. But in any case, Ken Harada, 32, Tetsuhiro Honda, 17, Shoji Gaku, 23, Kanno Issei, 14, Takeshi Yoshida, 30.
Did someone call me?
Komatsuna Taro, Takefumi Gono, Ushida Naohia, Takeshi Masamue, Yuto Umejima. There's no end to it.
They were all guys?
That's right! The people I kill with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men.
So that's why she writes love, because it's the opposite.
I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
Like, oh my god!
What the hell is wrong with you?
Everything!
I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl, and the mopey side of me just hates it. But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
What?
So since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Run, Big Mac! Run!
Oh God!
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid. So much passion and conviction to cross that line. That's absolute reality.
This isn't funny, except it's freaking hilarious.
This is the best class trial.
Oh my god! How are we gonna move past this? Because she didn't do it. Well, her personal relationships are gonna be sort of amusing for a while.
I wonder if we hang out with her, if we can hang out with her, Jill?
Well, I don't know the answer to that.
Get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy.
Oh, I like how he put that.
But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely. When you're forced to kill in order to survive.
That is feasible.
Okay, alright.
But
that's fair.
Quiet, Lolly,
Woo!
I mean, that's something that
But that's something a rational person would use and think.
Yeah.
She is not rational.
Even with, like, basic survivability, because remember, she's never been caught.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that you can't... All you can do is deny it and restate your reasons, and it can't be proven that that wouldn't be the case, which is possibly what Byakuya is counting on.
Okay.
Slowly.
How's it feel?
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect.
Thank you!
Yeah, just like we thought!
That does make some amount of sense.
But, of course, nobody would have known about the message in the arrangement.
It's not for...
Whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors.
You'll just have to take her word for it.
Yeah.
Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any scissors in the school?
Because I've already forgotten that you all have sewing kits.
Any scissors? I don't just use any scissors. I only use my own set of high-class envy of the entire world.
What are they made out of? Tungsten?
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
Are you sure about that?
What?
People have brought their own possessions.
That's true.
There's no reason to think that she couldn't have brought them.
Yeah.
We just hadn't thought about that either.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus! Everyone run!
I can see that Toko is actually going to be alongside Sakura, one of the people we're going to need to fight our way out of this if it comes to that.
How strange!
She's fully equipped. That's right, so I can kill anywhere, anytime. Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side?
It's so good that you're consistent.
Tell me I'm wrong. You can't, can you? Gutter dogs, all of you.
I love her so much.
Dude.
I hate her so much.
You are messed up.
Yes, I am.
Billy's dark past indeed.
I don't want to talk about it.
I bet you don't, do you?
Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot. So rope's totally out of the question anyway.
You know, I really understand that. There are many things that I am very good at, and there are many things I'm capable enough at. But among other things, what I just can't handle is the concept of tying knots.
Me either. My shoes always come undone.
I have gone out of my way to wear shoes that do not need to be tied. And of course, I mean, I can tie a simple knot and that's it. And it'll still get undone.
I have to retie my shoes like 3 times a day.
Yeah, same here. Knots are hard! Give me calculus!
We're in our mid-30s. We can't tie our shoes.
I can tie my shoes, for God's sake! I can tie my shoes! I can! I can! Do you believe me?
I have no idea what's going on anymore. Could such a heinous villain really be innocent?
Only in this case. Let us be clear.
Innocent of this, not of other things.
But the body really was suspended, right? And nobody but the police knew about that.
Yeah. That's why we figured it had to be the real deal and not some copycat killer or whatever.
Actually, hold on. There is one person. One person who could have copied the Genocide Jack case.
And now the game's gonna have us aim at Byakuya.
Right. Bammo!
Here's my answer.
Because we have to suspect him until we find evidence to the contrary.
It's possible you could have found out, isn't it? You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents or internal police records.
Don't worry about the why of this, guys. It's true, and he's not going to deny it.
Right.
Plus, you'd already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all happened, hadn't you?
I still don't think that he's not a primary suspect.
Oh, he is. He's the most primary suspect, but...
Are you saying Mr. Togami did it?
It would suit his nature to throw Toko under the bus after she confessed to him.
Yeah. I mean, everything lines up so well with him. Part of me thinks it'd be overthinking it to think that it wasn't him.
Right.
But, I mean, there's so much evidence we don't have. We've got to wait for all of it to come out.
But for the moment, he's the main suspect.
The Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
Uh-oh, if Celeste is talking about it this early in the trial, it can't be him.
Right.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it. The adorable glasses man was behind it all.
Oh my god!
I'm on fire!
Maybe Byakuya did it in self-defense.
That's just terrifying. And you know what else? Yeah. When she finds out that Chihiro's a dude, she would have been like, oh, maybe I should have killed him. Too bad I didn't.
Well, Byakuya, what's your response?
I see. So now the suspicion falls on me.
He had to have known that it was possible, so he must have something prepared.
Yeah, how is he going to argue against it?
He's too intelligent and, like, meticulous.
Yeah, I'm quite willing to believe it isn't him and to hear whatever it is he has to say, but he has to clear that.
Yeah.
Then I must ask, when would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have an answer.
You were one of the first 3 people to find the body.
True.
You do fit under, like, the category of people who could have done the murder.
Uh-huh.
Looking back and thinking about it now, the way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange.
Of course, Byakuya will come back to that by saying, no, that's incredibly rational, not strange at all.
And the locker rooms. They're suspicious. Very suspicious indeed, wouldn't you agree?
Huh? Suspicious?
It seems nobody searched the locker rooms. Let's start with the girls' locker room.
The girls' locker room.
You wanted to go to the girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're a guy...
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say?
That's even something I said in between episodes!
It's true. Even I initially kept clicking on the boys' locker room and then briefly thought that where we were in the boys' locker room.
The victim was Chihiro, a girl. Hence why I said we should check the girls' locker room.
Nothing strange about that, I'd say.
On the contrary, there's something very strange.
How would he know Chihiro was the victim?
Okay then, what's so strange about it? Go ahead, share with the rest of the class.
There was a clear contradiction in what Byakuya just said. Oh!
Alright, excellent!
Okay, now we're going to add something called a truth flashback. If you aim at a weak spot and hold down the Y button, then you'll memorize the weak spot, okay? And, so you have to take it. So this is very Phoenix Wrighty.
Yeah.
You take the evidence from them and then fire it at the contradiction. Okay. If you shoot or change the truth bullet, it will disappear from your truth cylinder, meaning you can take any of them. However, you can use this flashback feature as many times as you want. If you don't seem to have the answer to a lie or contradiction in your loaded truth bullets, it might be wise to memorize a different weak spot and use that to make your case.
How interesting.
When's the best time to flashback? Well, you'll just have to use your keen wits, won't you? In this case, though, I will say that if you don't use a flashback, you won't be refuting anything. Well then, good luck and have fun!
You're just really into this.
Ho-ho! Yay! This is fun to do. Okay.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found his body. But he was acting
You have to hold down Y to do the flashback.
I'm looking what they're saying.
Opportunity to check out the girls' locker room.
And the only reason I'm moving it...
It's a natural reaction for any guy.
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So, of course, I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
You wish you'd taken me with you.
Okay.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird...
Uh-oh.
What?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check
What,
out
Billy?
the
Nothing.
girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it.
Yeah.
That's That's a natural reaction for any guy.
The victim was Chihiro.
Who?
No, that's wrong. I'll tell you what's so strange about that. Because up until we actually discovered the
Yeah.
body, we couldn't have known who the victim was.
And they were right there. And again, that's when Monokuma talked about the 3-person rule.
Byakuya must have seen that someone had taken the girl's e-handbooks from the mail room.
Yeah, that's very feasible, yes.
So your claim that you went to the girls' locker room first because Chihiro was the victim doesn't hold up.
I see. That's a good answer, I must admit. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. But your reasoning is still too weak.
So how do you refute it?
Huh? What's wrong? Is that it? Surely you've got more than that. Go ahead. Show us.
It is true that there is no proof.
Yeah?
What's with Byakuya's attitude? It's like he doesn't even care. I've got him cornered, but he's acting like it has nothing to do with
What's
him.
the matter? You're not finished already, are you? There must be more to it.
He's a very strong person with a strong presence. Even if he is the killer,
He's trying to pressure us.
and even if he is cornered, he can just stand up to the pressure.
Yeah.
And
He's
in
trying
fact,
to turn it back on us.
Yeah, exactly that.
There is. I think.
If in the event that Byakuya isn't the killer, I think you're right about noticing the handbooks.
There is more to it. Think about it. We just talked about the differences between this case and past Genocide Jack
The
incidents.
case file.
The proof you're looking for is hidden in there.
Oh? Proof that I'm the culprit, you mean?
You have the case files!
And in fact, he even carried the thing off so nobody else could really get a look at it. The differences between this case and other Genocide Jack murders. The evidence that proves Byakuya is responsible is hidden in there? What could it be?
This is getting interesting.
Bit.
What? The difference between the cases? You want me to explain it again? When I want to kill, I use my very own special scissor. And I use those same scissors to arrange the body.
But Chihiro was suspended with... It was some kind of...
Arg, I need a second to think.
Right! It absolutely was!
Then there must be something very fishy indeed about that rope.
Hey, Byakuya,
Death lamp?
where'd you get it from, huh?
I'd never seen that rope before.
Death
in my
lamp.
life.
God dang, yeah, okay. Woo! Barely made it!
Woo!
Man, it's like it keeps you so on edge.
I'm pretty sure you have seen it before.
Like the whole time I was like, okay, what do I have available again? Okay, what are they actually saying?
Do I need to memorize something?
And yeah, like, am I gonna need to wait for the second? And oh crap, I shot the wrong thing and lost some time, but then the moment it came up, that is one of the advantages of having two of us.
Yeah.
Because, you see, that rope, or should I say, that extension cord...
Bang!
Booyah!
An extension cord?
Or, to say something from Ace Attorney, Eureka! I guess I could have said take that.
You've used the extension cord in the library more than once, haven't you?
Yes, he has.
And the same extension cord that was in the library all this time went missing after the murder. And there's no way someone who uses that extension cord as much as you do wouldn't discover that.
That's also true.
Then Byakuya must be the one who took the extension cord. I can't imagine any other possibility.
And he's not denying that either.
That's really what you think? Then your conclusion is something like this? I killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, then hung her up and wrote that bloody message. I intentionally made it look like Genocide Jack was behind it.
Like, that's not true, but that is what they're going with right now.
Is that about right?
Not quite right, but he's doing it again. He's totally calm, totally unconcerned, as if he's not even involved. Wait, not even involved?
What's wrong? I asked you if you think that's what happened.
Hell yes, that's what happened. So that's it, right? Byakuya's the killer.
I don't disagree with not disagreeing.
I can't even think about that right now. I'll get confused.
He kept calling this a game, right? So he'd be totally willing to do something like this to win.
Maybe. Maybe.
Sorry, but could we hold on just a second?
Maybe his idea of winning is doing the right thing.
That is possible.
He may have done this for Makoto's sake to make him, like, give him more adversary. Like, make him more adversarial to give him more difficulty so he can grow?
Which actually does specifically happen in, say, Ace Attorney.
I mean, Kyoko was like that, too.
We even had, like, right after Byakuya's meltdown, where he was just like, blah, blah, kill everybody. Like, I was furious. But then after that, I was starting to think, like, is it possible we misread him? So that may be true. I can't say. We don't know, but...
I think we need to talk about this a little more.
There's still more details.
Oh, there's a lot more details.
We can't ever jump to conclusions.
Huh. Do we really need to? We've already decided who did it.
Yes, Mr. Suspicious.
Funny how you're the one who keeps saying this.
I know, but still, there's something that's still bothering me.
The main reason that we think Yasuhiro is so suspicious, and again, we may be wrong. Okay, but Leon did have that role in the last trial. But the main reason that we think Yasuhiro is suspicious is because he has had unexplained behavior and unexplained statements. Everybody else...
Such as, I totally didn't look into that mailbox.
And he said something about brainwashing.
Yeah, with Byakuya.
That could have been a joke. It might not have been a joke.
But he was talking about Byakuya acting strange.
Yeah, and he's a male.
Yeah.
And... I mean, because that's obviously important because the murder took place in the boys' locker room.
Right.
And there's no other way but a Boys E handbook to get there, and the only available Boys E handbook was broken.
Right.
And, like, everybody else doesn't have unexplained strange behavior.
Correct.
Only Yasuhiro does. But, that being said, we don't have any way of understanding what he did.
Right. We don't have that evidence has not come out yet.
If indeed it exists.
Is that right? And what, pray tell, is still bothering you? I killed her in the girls' locker room, then disguised my crime.
Well, for a start,
you didn't kill her in the girls' locker room.
Specifically, I dressed it up to make it look like it was the work of a homicidal psychopath. What about all that bothers you?
Like the way he's saying this.
Well, even if he did it...
That's true.
Throwing it right back in people's faces. I mean, merely appearing confident is enough to sway people on, like, an intuitive level. Wait. What was that just now? Something's not right. Byakuya's remarks just now.
The scene of the crime.
Something in there that concerns me. Kablam!
You say you killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, right? But are you sure about that? Isn't it possible that the murder took place somewhere else?
Possible? Nay. Probable.
Mm-hmm.
How disappointing.
There's no way you missed this. Not you!
What kind of question is that? Even in the world of disappointments, this is a true letdown.
Wait, did Byakuya go into the boys' locker room with us?
No.
So he wouldn't have seen the stain from the coffee, and he wasn't there when we talked to Sakura about the coffee.
So he was so fixated on his own idea that he never looked? Or
I guess he never noticed the poster either, just saw, oh, blood on the wall, blood here, there.
And so he jumps to conclusions.
Because it supported his narrative.
Yeah, and he did have access to information that other people didn't, and so he overvalued his own access to that information.
Which is something a pompous a-hole like him would do.
It makes sense, because he's, like, his whole life, he's always operated with extra information, extra knowledge, extra privilege, extra power than other people, and extra control. So him assuming that he just needs to rely on that for everything makes sense, so it never even occurred to him to look outside of it. If he didn't do it, that would make sense.
She was found dead in the girls' locker room. There is absolutely no question about that.
That's correct. She was found dead in the girls' locker room, but not killed.
Correct.
How could the scene of the crime have been anywhere else?
Well, I think it's entirely possible that she was killed somewhere else, then carried there later.
I suppose Makoto sort of has that sort of instinctive idea that that's possible, even though he hasn't put it together yet.
Right. Well, isn't that kind of how Phoenix works?
Yeah. It's like you kind of would get dragged along throughout the twists and turns of the cases along with the protagonist.
And then it's like, at the end, Phoenix is like, wait, no, I got it!
And that's what's gonna happen here, too.
Along with the rest of the murder scene.
Yes!
The rest of the murder
What's the matter, Byakuya? You look a little nervous or uncertain.
I really hope it's exactly the way that you said, that it's going to actually break his confidence and make him end up working with everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of knock down his arrogance a few levels.
It's been a while. There is never going to be a good spot to stop.
Right.
We don't know if we're going to get another tutorial coming up, which would make a good point to stop. So we're going to go ahead and stop it right here. And tomorrow, we'll go ahead and have the next one out for you. So look forward to it. Hopefully we'll even finish it in that one.